Black things train, black things train, black things with Anthony Patrice. Black things train. Like, what is the black thing tank? Like, we really just wanted to create a space where we could, discuss black content with black content creators and providers and consumers of black content. But make no mistake, we also want to create our own content and pretty much star and produce our own content, and then move on to music. We'll write our own songs, and we'll sing our own songs, and produce our own songs, and totally go into film where we'll definitely write our own films and produce our own films, own our own films, and star in all our films, because it's about black content. That's what we want, blackness content. Black things train, black things with Anthony Patrice. Black things train. Like, what is the black thing tank? We really just wanted to create a space where we could, discuss black content with black content creators and providers and consumers of black content. But make no mistake, we also want to create our own content and pretty much star and produce our own content, and then move on to music. We'll write our own songs, and we'll sing our own songs, and produce our own songs, and totally go into film where we'll definitely write our own films, and produce our own films, own our own films, and star in our films, because it's about black content. That's what we want, blackness content. Black things train, black things train, black things with Anthony Patrice. Black things train. Like, what is the black thing tank? We really just wanted to create a space where we could, discuss black content with black content creators and providers and consumers of black content. But make no mistake, we also want to create our own content and pretty much star and produce our own content, and then move on to music. We'll write our own songs, and we'll sing our own songs, and produce our own songs, and totally go into film where we'll definitely write our own films, and produce our own films, own our own films, and star in our films, because it's about black content. That's what we want, blackness.
Welcome to Black Think Tank!
We made it back and black another week. We made it back and black another week.
We made it. We made it.
With Anthony.
I love that song. Let me tell you, that song is gonna go down in history. I'm telling you.
It's been in my head.
It is the next Negro spiritual. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
It will lead you
next
to
work
the star. Okay. Welcome everybody to Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice. Yo, we are here. We are black, and we have made it. We are alive. We are sane. We are breathing. We are healthy. Oh my God! Did I say we were black? Oh,
You said we were black.
Very.
And we black, and we black, and we black.
and we black, and we black. We have some amazing people with us today. Patrice, I'm gonna let you go ahead. First of all, give it up for my co-host, the wonderful, the beautiful comedian Patrice DeVoe. Funny.
Virtual world. Shout out to
Don't make me go in the studio. I will go in the studio.
It's gonna be mixed and mastered by next week, messing around with Anthony for real.
We're gonna pull in Orlando from Thursday Night Tea, and we're gonna go hard. Welcome, Patrice. How you can introduce our squad, our beautiful, lovely squad.
Of course, like we always do at this time, we want to welcome and thank, the going in and out like Ghost Dad, the Turnip Haywood and Tracy is definitely here. That is the squad. There's also some little turnip seeds that may pop in and out of the frame. They
I
are
love
part
the
of the
little
squad
turnip
as
seeds.
well. Don't be alarmed.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
y'all
they
doing,
all
turnip
making a
seeds?
cameo.
Black love, how y'all doing?
We're doing good.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Yeah, they may make a cameo from time to time. I think we got them locked in the back room for right now, though.
Y'all looking good, Tracy. It look like you just got your hair did.
Girl, I just twisted this myself. I'm still not going out to see the hairstylist, but I did try. I tried to hook it up a little bit.
You did, you did.
Okay, it looks good.
I noticed a fresh retwist, even if it's fresh.
We have a special guest with us today. You know, we love our Black family. Oh, we just engulf them and just wrap them in Black light and love. I want y'all to give a warm Black Think Tank welcome to Dr. Alicia Jones.
Hey.
The doctor, he said in front of that name. Doctor, yes.
Give me the news. I got
Welcome,
a
doctor.
taste of loving. Now you are a professor of ethnomusicology at Indiana University. I love that. Ethnomusicology. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Y'all are all the way live and y'all are giving me like all of the home I need. So, thank you. I'm from the Northeast DC, Fort Totten.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Come through.
20017.
Okay.
Pull up.
Love it.
Ethnomusicology is this great opportunity to think about music and culture and talk about music and culture all the time. And I get to be like a professional Black music scholar in the middle of Indiana.
Love it. Because, hey, Will, you're from Indiana, right?
Yep, and it's not like the Jacksons. I'm never going back to Indiana. I've been to visit, but I'm from Gary. But I'm not going back to live.
And that's Chicago. Gary is like 30 minutes from Chicago. That was a blessing. Yes.
Well.
Dr. Jones, we thank you so much for agreeing to do the show. Shout out to Dr. Hicks from Wake Forest, who was the plug. We always like to shout out the plugs.
Yes, our guest from last week. So if you missed that show, please go back and rewatch it, share it, because that was
amazing.
It was
a good vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. Shout out to Hazel. Hazel Peterson is a good friend of mine from Greensboro. Thank you. Lee people from the Triad are tuning in. Rashawn, Marcus, Zoom, Coleman.
Yeah, he said my outfit is fire. It's just considering it's only an outfit.
Lawrence, Devon, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Make sure you share the live feed. Again, this is a donation-based show, so anything you donate will be dispersed amongst all of us here. If you can see that, I'm also going to change it I'm going to post it in the comments. Y'all see this? My baby painted this for me. Y'all.
Oh, I thought it looked different. I thought it looked a little different from last time.
Yeah.
Little paint, sipping paint. But so yeah, I appreciate you all. We appreciate you tuning in. It is National Black Music Month. And we are here to honor all of the Black musicians, writers, singers. It is basically the soundtrack of our lives. Our Black artists they've written the soundtrack of our lives. You know, we pull so much. What up, J-Boy? We pulled from all of these songs. Okay, that was so random. What up, J-Boy?
Gina G, since we still doing shout out to Gina G.
Yeah, shout out to Jesus. Here. Shout out to Black Jesus. But yeah, it's basically like we pull so much from music. It is literally, I can think of a song and it can transport me right back to that time in which I heard it, how it affected my life, and all of that. And we just want to pay homage to that today. Now, as you know, our viewers, we always honor a fallen legend, an ascended legend. And today, it is the birthday What up, Pastor Mia? It is the birthday. I'm just gonna keep doing that randomly all show. Birthday. What up, Joe? And I'm gonna let Haywood take this over while I go ahead and share the screen to this amazing person that we're honoring today. Haywood.
Today we are honoring the one and only Tupac Amaru Shakur. Today is June 16th, and on June 16, 1971, Afeni Shakur gave birth to a hell-raising heavenly son. Tupac Amaru Shakur, one of our revolutionaries, poet, preacher, prophet, MC, revolutionary. Tupac is the voice of our generation. Tupac was the voice of the hip-hop generation. Long before anybody was sitting with Versace and wearing different things, it was Tupac who was actually doing those things and hanging out with Hilfiger and bridging the gaps between hip-hop and commerce in a way that the hip-hop audience could take it. MC Hammer had done it before him, but then Tupac did it in such a way where it just became the ethos that we see now. It became the hip-hop that we see now. Not only was he revolutionary, not only was he a rebel, Tupac, you're talking about right now, fight the police. And Tupac fought the police. In Atlanta, Tupac saw a motorist being pulled over by in a questionable way by two police officers, and Tupac took it to those police officers. And Tupac won that case against those police officers. So we know about fighting the power. We know about saying, hey, fight the police. We know what it means to say, hey, let's have our voices be heard. Right now, we're witnessing one of Tupac's great mantras being played out. The mantra is thug life. The hate you give little infants, and I'll clean it up for the show. The hate you give little infants fouls everything. Fouls everything. And if you don't smell the foul stench in the air that is America right now, then you really aren't even paying attention. Because not only have we been talking about this for years and years and years, but Tupac brought it all from the centuries before him. Tupac talked about it from a revolutionary standpoint. Tupac talked about it from a Black Panther standpoint. Tupac also talked about it from an artistic standpoint. Let's not forget this man was an actor, artist, along with being an activist. And unlike the Lil Waynes of today, and like the Meek Mills of today, but like the Meek Mills of today, we want to say thank you to Tupac Shakur for actually paving the way for those artists who actually are out there now fighting the good fight, who are willing to put not only their careers on the line, but their lives on the line. Tupac did lose his life in this great fight that we live in that's called America, and it was unjust. And we still have yet to know who actually committed that crime. But we all lost when Tupac lost his life. We all lost a little bit. We lost a little bit of life, we lost a little bit of love, and we lost a little bit of our way. So we want to thank Tupac Shakur for helping us. We want to remind everyone that on this day, Tupac would be 49 years old.
Wow.
And could you imagine where he would be? I promise you, he would be in these streets.
Front lines.
So with Tupac Shakur, we say your name.
You say your name.
Ashe.
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 Oh,
And let the people say.
Hey.
Since we're talking about Pac, does anybody want to say, like, what was their favorite Pac album?
Oh, for me, strictly for my niggas.
Okay.
Strictly for my niggas. Holla if you hear me. If I'm not mistaken, Brittany's Got a Baby is on there. That was 1993. That's the year I graduated high school.
Okay.
That was the year that I came into my own. That was the year I moved from Gary, Indiana to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and actually had to sit in the class and read, what's the book, Mark Twain? What's that book? Not Tom Sawyer, but the other one. Huckleberry Finn. And I had to have a discussion about Huckleberry Finn, and I was on my revolutionary at that time. I was like, let me explain to you why this is not anything I want to read at this time, unless we're pairing it with the autobiography of Malcolm X. Unless we're pairing it with something by Stokely Carmichael. Unless we're pairing it with
Dr. Jones, how do you feel about Tupac's contribution to Black music being the soundtrack of our lives?
You know, my song would be Dear Mama.
Yeah. Those are the good ones. Brenda Had a Baby and
Absolutely.
Mama.
And you know what I love about Tupac? This is I like to incorporate Tupac into my classes because a lot of these folks who wear the MAGA hats also love hip hop and rap.
Yes.
So I want to have a discussion about that if we're going to be in class. And one of the things that Tupac offers us in terms of the interviews and even the court case depositions is his argument that rap music is poetry. Like poetry, it has verse, it has form. And I really think, like, if we think about it, he created a conversation for us to have a rap artist like Kendrick Lamar to win a Pulitzer not too long ago. It was that sort of framing to help people understand that rap music is an American oral literature, an oral.
Yes.
So I think Tupac was brilliant, and he was surrounded by amazing women, including Assata Shakur. And he shouted out these godmothers, these aunties, and his mother throughout his music. Now, there were some problematic moments. We're filled with contradiction.
As we are human. That's human nature. Duality is who we are.
We are complex.
Yeah, and he was a Gemini. So he had two sides.
And Mercury was in retrograde. Mike B, Wolfman Don, Gina, Amber from Black Think Tank Squad. Thank Amber for tuning in. Amber Phillips, Elliot Bromberg. Thank you all for tuning in. So when we think about, like, because we're just gonna go ahead and hop into this, and Dr. Jones, I want you to hop in, where you see fit. When we talk about Black music, like we were when we were talking about having this show, we asked each other, like, when you think about Black music, where's the furthest you can go with it? And I was kind of ashamed of where when you think of the origins of Black music, I don't even want to say what I said because it's gonna be
Tell us.
I was like, I mean, other than like Negro spirituals, I was like Chuck Berry, Richard.
You ain't taking back to the motherland at all. Where you think the drums came from? You gotta go back to the drums, the percussion.
So when you think about Black, just like with anything Black history, it always starts from, when we came over as slaves. But you never hear of anything like that predates that. Could you enlighten us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I'm glad you all named this show the Soundtrack of America. I actually posted a really useful tool for you guys, for your viewers on my page it's a poster that I actually developed called the Soundtrack of America. And it gives a family tree of the musics that were developed since we hit these shores. I will say that, yes, Negro spirituals were a part of the music, but you also have work songs, cries and hollers. And of course, when we think of work songs, we think of enslavement, but we're not the only group of people that have had work songs. There are Chinese work songs, there are European work songs. So I don't want you all to feel that sort of stigma. But there's something, like, if I were to drop a nugget for you guys, one thing I want folks to know about Black music is that it's a technology. It is such a technology that the oral tradition that stayed with us through our singing, through our body percussion, clapping, stomping, all of that, yes, all of that is an actual technology. And that technology was feared. That technology of the transmission of the music was so feared that when colonizers heard of traditions like the talking drum or talking instruments, they actually made it outlawed to play the drum. It's the only instrument in the United States that has been prohibited by law to be played in the public because they thought we were going to rise up. And even my white colleagues don't even know that.
I mean, but it's a frequency. It's a frequency. It's an energy. So yes, with the right tribal energy, the fear was warranted.
The beauty of it is, how we're colorful with our speech. We got this. We raise our pitch, and we have in our speech. The beauty of the talking drum is that the people who learned the talking drum knew how to manipulate the drum head so that it could sound like and mimic how melodious our speech was. And so it literally was talking. It literally was used to mimic the beauty of our speech. And to this day, that fear of the drum has trickled into how we hear rap music, how we hear heavy percussive music, because it was outlawed and people were killed because they were thought to incite riots and uprisings. That's why that's a part of why people still act violent toward percussion heavy music to this day.
Wow.
Even in like within, I mean, I come from the church. Everybody knows that. I'm tired of saying it. But just even if you remove that component, like if your music can just transport you, I can see the percussions doing that.
Right.
It will, even if you listen to like, I remember in college, we used to go to like the college parties and they used to start playing the house music. And just like, I mean, we used to just like lose our minds. Like you don't even realize like what you're doing. You know, you're moving it. And that's the effect that Black music has on you.
Yeah. You can literally trance. You could get lost in the beat. Absolutely. There's so many musics around the world that induce this sort of transcendence or trance-like state. And that's what happens when people listen to go-go. Go-go musicians know about it. You know, people get lost in the groove, right? I mean, you can't hardly hear people what they're saying when they're, you know, performing with go-go. So I love that it's giving you that fix that comes with the drums that move your body, that actually move your body.
That's one thing I love about what Bob Marley says. One thing about music, when it hits, you feel no pain.
Okay.
Like, why you think about when, you know, people are going into war and into battle, they have certain, you know, certain types of music that they play because it feels like it probably overtakes the fear and it gives you a sense of, you know, invincibility. Like you can go head on into, you know, into battle just from hearing certain sounds. I think that's beautiful.
Absolutely. It also causes a chemical reaction within us. The same that we get when we are in athletics, you know, the endorphins, right? But then there's also the sensuous nature, which, you know, Anthony, when I talk about gospel music, I point that out, that there is a sensual component to how we experience the music that people often don't want to describe, but if we really get below the sort of surface experience, that sensuality is what draws people to the music.
Okay, so while we're talking about gospel music, let's go ahead and do this plug because you just wrote a book and the book comes out tomorrow. You can get it on all platforms, Walmart, Amazon, and there's one more, it's another one I meant to write. Barnes & Noble. You can get it on all book platforms. It's called Flaming. And what's the rest of can you pull it? It's behind you. I see it. I see the book.
It is Flaming, ? Like a piece of fire. The peculiar theopolitics of fire and desire, Black male gospel performance.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh.
You turn on
you tell. What's the jacket say? What's the jacket say?
In Jesus' name. I said, wait.
Yo, I mean, it's so much to unpack. It's so much to unpack.
But what is that about you?
Let's unpack.
That's funny because when we talk about stuff like when we talk about the Kundalini or chakras or our soul, right? It's called soul music because it activates, like you were saying, it changes you. Vibrations change you. Like the energy of its vibrations. So what is it about Black music? Or what is it about music in general? Because it's not just Black music. Music that is so frightening. Like when rock and roll was banned, or when the guitar was banned, or certain things like this. We can't allow you to feel good. What is it about that is so frightening to the powers that be? Is it that it allows you to go into a trance or go to another place or visit
Yeah, transcendence. So you mentioned Kundalini. I was talking earlier about one of the articles that I'm known for that is actually expanded in this book. It's called Pole Dancing for Jesus.
Yes. I love it.
Classes I
Mary Magdalene was about the church. She was in the church.
But it's about a man who is.
Hey.
Yes, it's about a man, Tavon Hargett, whose name is Jungle Cat. Is featured in
Jungle Cat.
All your cats and kittens.
Listen,
Mufasa.
he became really popular in about 2011 because a video of his went viral when he decided he was homesick, had been learning pole fitness for a year, and decided or taught himself through an infomercial product. And he decided that he wanted to actually commemorate Resurrection Sunday by getting on the pole and getting on the pole.
Work.
My job as an ethnographer is to capture the stories.
Work.
And so he got on the pole and he decided to do so to Hezekiah Walker's "I Need You to Survive."
Oh,
I need you.
I love that song. First of all, I love that song.
We are a part of God's body.
He was praise pole dancing.
Yes.
Dance with me.
Video.
That's
Show him some love.
Bueno.
I actually talked to him, and one of the things he shared with me as he was trying to figure out, is this a liturgical dance? Is this praise dance? He shared that he identified at the time as tantric celibate. So he uses tantra. So he's
okay.
Was raised Baptist, but was attending a large Pentecostal church that we might know on this Zoom conference.
So it's either Kajic or
Not Kajic.
Let's keep our hands on the music because
They gonna get you, Haywood.
God in Christ. I know who they is.
And he really challenged me, in terms of what I understood about what it means to praise God using pole fitness. And so,
Doc, I got a real question.
Okay.
So during this pole fitness praise dance, were the tithes and offerings like raised on him, or did they still just pass around the collection plate, or did they bring it to the altar? I'm trying to. Okay, never mind. Y'all think I be trying to be funny, and these are the real questions I have in my brain.
That's a real question.
He has locks. He has a Razorback shirt on. He has some flannel pants and Timberlands.
But does he look right with it on? That's the most or off?
So here's the thing. That's a really good question, especially for those of us, because I took a pole fitness class, for research. One of the things about it is people who actually have studied pole fitness, they know that you need the skin on the pole in order to get the traction. So you can kind of see that the weight of his clothing, like the Timberlands that are required in DC uniform, they are pulling him down. Yeah, but it actually looked more like Cirque du Soleil to me than like, a striptease. Now, he has other videos. Check out his other videos, but the Lord.
I certainly will.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Torian, Mukuzo, Sam T.
Right?
Shout out to Angel Hatcher Gentry, Decoder, Miko, LW Artworks. Do y'all know the guy in DC who's going around painting all the buildings that are?
Yep.
He was on Good America. He was on the Today Show. Good America. This is actually his painting. He's tuned in. It's Luther from LW Artworks. So thank all of you for tuning in.
Christy Village, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, Whitney Daniels, all these. It's a lot of Black dopeness on here too. Thank you, Teresa Concepcion, for tuning in. But y'all, back to Black music and where we are today. We went to protest, Kevin and I, and they were playing different music as we were protesting, and I promise you, I felt like I was in a Spike Lee movie. The music was just like motivating. They were playing like Kendrick Lamar, "We Gonna Be All Right," and it was just like, it really motivated the protest. who's our protest? What's our protest song of yesteryear and our protest songs of today? Like Black Cop, you know.
I was gonna say, are you asking me? Because if I gotta go first, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it's F the Police. Whether it's the NWA version, whether it's the little boosted version, whatever version that you got that say F 9+3, that's my song. Mm-hmm.
F 9+3. She's an F 9+3.
My students, they always want to know, like, why are they singing about F the Police? That's my favorite topic to address with them. Largely because people don't know, you know, how the police was founded, and that there are actual race-based laws, that the police were founded as slave patrols. We know there are books on this, but a lot of people have no idea that because of how it was founded, the people, we have our oral tradition that has accounted for these tensions. So F the Police is always the one my students talk about. I have to say, We Gonna Be All Right is another one that we hear all over the place.
I say for myself, you have one?
No, go ahead.
So for myself, it's not just Fuck the Police, but it's also Fight the Power. Mm-hmm. And then it's also groups like X-Clan and groups like Wu-Tang and groups like Brand Nubians, Poor Righteous Teachers. I mean, for ages, music has been the way that we got our messages across. Mm-hmm. It was how we got free. You know, it was how Negro spirituals weren't just so that we could work. It was so that we could tell someone how to meet at this place so that you could find those crossroads.
You better follow the drinking gourd. I still to this day don't know what the drinking gourd is, but I know if I'm ever in trouble, I will follow it.
You gotta wade through the water. Wade through the water.
But that's it. Yes. It's the Big Dipper. The drinking gourd is the Big Dipper. It's literally telling you to look to the stars. And then you have things like the wade in the water, saying walk in the water so that the dogs can't smell you. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we have these traditions that teach. You know, we teach the ABCs through music. So my question is, look at that. What
wade in the water.
Yeah.
How is it? Is music like a sixth sense for us as human beings? Is it something that helps us understand ourselves in a better way? Because it's not just us. I mean, you also had like Bob Dylan singing songs like "Blowing in the Wind." You also had, you had plenty of folks using Mozart. When Mozart had an oboe at the beginning of his movement, that was revolutionary at that time. Mm-hmm. That was something that no one was doing. So they were like, "You doing this? Are you playing this for at pomp and circumstance? Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me?" And then I mean, it's just it's bigger than us, you know. I mean, to me, it's that universal thing. It's frequency, like you were saying earlier, Patrice. But it's also the vibrations. The universe hums, you know. So as ethnology,
ethnomusicology.
Say
it 2 more times for a sister like me, please.
Ethnomusicology.
Ethnomusicology. Okay.
Because how is it that we use music to share our oral traditions? And how is it that we know how to do that and connect to something that we have been disconnected from for 400 some odd years?
Absolutely. Well, and keeping with that idea of oral tradition being a technology, one of the beauties of being a part of an oral culture is that those musics are portable. Those musics have memory attached to them. Mm-hmm. So for example, if I were to clap for you a rhythm, which I do all the time, there you can immediately guess what song I might be alluding to just because of the memories associated with a particular rhythm.
Right.
You can also transmit history, politics, and society, but it's done in a way that is much more palatable than just bare rhetoric. The melody, the harmony actually works to make us receptive to tense topics. We can even use anthems as a way to understand how protest or disagreement is dealt with in the public conversation. But I think it's the pleasurable aspect of music and the aesthetic, the beauty of it, that makes it palatable and what we offer the world. And I want to say this. Our music is a global music. Our music can be heard in cafes. I was in Guam on the bus and I heard Jodeci. You know, I was in Korea doing research. So serious. Come and talk to me. I was like, what? Like, body, what? What's going on?
Yeah.
I was in Korea and I saw the animated fountain with Whitney Houston playing.
Yeah.
Like, our music is not just the soundtrack of America, it is global music.
Yeah.
It is a global popular music, and it is our largest export in terms of culture from the United States.
Yeah.
We make people wealthy, and we are the soundtrack of their lives around the world.
That's amazing. It's amazing because it's like we use music and we have this gift, and some of us don't even know what it is that we're doing, and we're doing it naturally. And it's a beautiful thing. But as you said, like I've been in places, and when you hear some folks from Korea, like Seoul, Korea, they actually sound like R&B singers.
Absolutely.
So you have folks from the Philippines that sound like R&B singers. I have friends in France who are asking me about Tupac and asking me to make playlists. And then 10 years later, they were in the streets protesting and rioting and playing Tupac and playing NWA, but also playing James Brown. So it's like music has helped the civil rights. It helped us get through Jim Crow. It helped us get through the civil rights movement, and it helped us explain our movements. So even something like now, where you have Kendrick Lamar winning the Pulitzer, and then saying "We Gonna Be All Right," but then coming right back with "Damn," and then dropping hints of Yeshua in there, and dropping hints of 5% Nation and Black Power movement. There's even that movie, the Black Power mixtape, how music and the movement go hand in hand. Are you able to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much there. To your earlier point, so one of the things about the perception of Black music beyond the United States is that other folks outside of the United States are willing to train in our traditions in ways we have not seen in music conservatories or schools of music here. It's still a challenge to get people to offer courses in gospel music or jazz or soul music. It's still a difficulty, but folks like me, practitioners, we get called abroad to Korea, to Seoul. They will pay $5 to sit at the feet of a master musician.
And then they will take that and mimic the snot out of it.
Yes.
I've been like in choir competitions, especially like gospel choir competitions, and you think that y'all got it wrapped up in the bag, y'all done shouted and then here comes the Korean choir.
Clear.
And they clear the room with what they learned from you.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we set the
pace. People are much more enamored by, that's one thing that annoys me.
Novelty.
It's just that people are so much more enamored by it when they see someone else mimicking it versus
the real thing.
The originator. Right. That's I don't even understand how to process what it is that you know what I'm saying, like how that makes me feel. But I guess
well, they've been doing it for years.
Appropriation.
Yeah.
Do we
I think it's because there's this like narrative that says Black music is not teachable. That is what Eurocentric education tells folk, that it's innate, it's natural to Black folk. And I literally sit at conferences where people say that we can't teach your music. But I point to those Korean gospel music competitions, those German gospel music and Norwegian gospel music competitions. They get it. They understand.
They get it.
Yeah. Kim Burrell don't want a day of those runs. Those Asian runs.
Not at all.
You don't want a day of them.
But you also have music like Gaelic music, Irish music, or traditional German music, which also has, I mean, when you hear it in its traditional sense, it still has this rooted in African sound. It doesn't matter what I hear across the globe when I see like New Zealanders perform hakas. It still seems to me, or when you hear Indian music in Southeast Asia or Southern Asia, we hear Indian music. This all has this tradition to me that still seems to be rooted in African tradition with the drum and the sound of the strings. It's like many people don't even know that the guitar comes from Africa and not from Spain. It was just the Spanish that changed it, changed the dynamics of it. So it's I guess I don't want to say this. How is it that our music permeates so many cultures and connects so many cultures? And like what you were saying, without the knowledge that it is us.
And even if you speak to that point, put on the side of that, why doesn't it work vice versa? You saw all of the controversy when Lil Nas X decided that he was going to be country music, as if we did not, have a part in country music and create it. But we're not even going to jump down that rabbit hole. How is it that it's, easily digested from the other side when it's taken from us, but as soon as people try to associate what we're doing with something that is, I guess, attributed to being for white people. If you saw black people river dancing, you would be, it's not going to get the same reception as if you saw Korean gospel singers. It's not going to get the same accolade, applause.
Yeah. Now, I will say, when I studied opera, I was formed in the Academy of the Church, and then I studied opera.
Come on, Dr. Jones. Come on.
And a part of what...
You thought a PhD came easy, Anthony? No. They don't just hand them out.
Where that crowd, Queen? Where that crowd?
But a part of the novelty, a part of what I love to experience in addition to singing in that way, was people's amazement when I could speak the languages, when I could do the performance practice, the customs musically of the Italian, German, French, whatever culture. And I appreciate you bringing up the case of Lil Nas X, because as you said, and so all hearts and minds can be clear, country music was established greatly by African American and African derived traditions.
Come on.
Scholars, the author of Hidden in the Mix out of Duke University Press, I think it's on sale right now, 50% off, you might want to get it. And I believe a book called Country Soul. These books lay the foundations of how country music was developed, and the significance of the banjo, which was a Northwest African instrument that was brought over. And
then it was confiscated by the quote unquote redneck culture, bluegrass.
Yeah. All of these, there's elements of instrumentation and vocal style that still persist. And we have the most popular voices of music were Black people. So I could talk ad nauseum.
So listen,
we got time today.
Shout out to Arlene, Marshall, Tisha Royster, Paul Winston, Tia Eldridge, Dakota, Miko, our show favorite. Miko be in here whoa, dropping nuggets. Derek Hicks, also Chandra Gore. Racine is tuned in from the Ask Racine show. Shout out to Racine Pendarvis, DC's Empress of Pride, Queen of Pride. Leon Scott, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you share the live feed. Reba, make sure you guys share the live feed. So music, this is something that I know that a lot of times we think about Black people, we think of our gems that we have, like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, all those types of people. Why do we always pit them against each other? Like there can only be one. Like we rarely see, Barbra Streisand, who's
versus Bette Midler?
Midler and
or Celine Dion. Let's do that. Barbra Streisand versus Celine Dion.
It's always like Brandy versus Monica versus Keisha Cole. It's always like, why do we pit Beyonce against Rihanna? Why is there always this negative connotation between Black performers to where there can only be one?
Yeah. I think it's a marketplace. Well, we have to remember that the music and making music for profit is a part of the music industrial complex. And having these rivalries feeds into this narrative that we got to squash, which is that Black women can't deal with competition or sharing the platform or allowing another person to have a light shined on them. But I think it's driven by a marketplace demand for a narrative. You know, even how folks tell the story of Whitney Houston versus Phyllis Hyman. You know, they have talked about how, yeah, like, oh yeah, those were, yeah. But there's the narrative of Phyllis Hyman was overwhelmed by Whitney Houston's stardom and the very real machine that was behind Whitney Houston's success. But then there's also the narrative that Whitney Houston had a Black voice era and then a white voice era. Really, really sad. And they say that is why she, you know, had various identity crises. Whatever it is, we have to remember that with the music industrial complex, the music that was the soundtrack of our lives, the music that was our technology, the CNN before there was a CNN, that music has been turned into something that is no longer nourishing in the way that it once was. And we have
bottom line. It's about the bottom line. And if the bottom line means we got to put you against you to sell more records, then that's what we're going to do. They could be the best of friends behind closed doors, but for marketing and campaigning purposes, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that I agree, but I do feel like that's the thing about the same way with comedy, because most of us here are comedians. There's show business. There's the show, and then there's the business behind it, whether it's the musical, you know, industrial complex, the comedy industrial complex, like that is the nature of the business. You'll never have somebody like Talib Kweli sell as many records as Jay-Z because the conversations are different in the boardroom. You know what I mean? And there's one person who may or may not feel the need to make their music more digestible to people so that it can sell more. Like, I appreciate the people who, you know, maintain a certain level of integrity. Not saying Jay-Z, Sean Carter, if you are watching this, you're on my top 5. Number one, I'm just saying that I get that there are some people who say, I can do more by playing the game this way. And that's the way that they decide to move. Like Whitney Houston, people forget, like you said, that she's from Jersey. She's a Jersey girl. Like, you know, that image of this pop princess, Hallelujah, that is something that was a creation. You know what I mean? Like, that was a creation. But
one of the things about these sorts of stereotypes, these musical stereotypes, that I find it a part of my job is to actually show how Black women have been sisterly for a long time. You know, the verses that we have seen, that moment between Jill Scott and Erykah Badu was beautiful.
That was our second show of Black Think. We broke down Erykah Badu and Jill Scott.
And it was
and Black women have been doing this for a long time. You know, Jill Scott mentioned how she wrote that song for Badu, and both of them won. I just released a piece last August through NPR about a similar collaboration between Marian Anderson and Florence Price during that 1939 recital on the Lincoln Memorial, where Marian Anderson experienced some real unsisterly treatment by the Daughters of the American Revolution.
Yes.
In her concert, she not only did her patriotic thing, she did the Star-Spangled Banner, but she did a sisterly thing by showcasing the compositions by Black composers, Edward Boatner, Harry T. Burleigh, and then she ended her recital with a woman, and the only name that was spelled out on that program was Florence B. Price. And it gave everyone who understands concert music the signal that this is a woman to watch, this is a woman to program, and she helped a woman who had fallen hard on her times to get the notoriety she needed as a symphonic composer. So Black women have been doing this. Don't believe the hype.
Right. Some of that stuff is just a smoke screen. Absolutely. What's your song for hope? What's your songs for hope during this time? I just want to know. I know that might not be on the docket. Yeah, no. Talk about the order.
You create the docket, girl. You create the docket. Put it on there. Yeah, songs. I personally, I am a gospel fan. So in times of where I need inspiration or motivation, or I just feel like I need to get a good cry out, or I just need to get my feelings out, I'll go listen to Duranda. I'll go pull up a Duranda or a light John P. Like
John
John
P.
P. Legendary.
I know, nasty.
Nasty Hezekiah live in London. I'll go ahead and pull that out. Second chance. I need a second chance. You're the God of the second chance. Yeah. So those are my inspirational go-tos. What about
Turnip seeds? What's yours? And then Doc, I would love Doc Jones. I would love for you to go after them.
So when I guess whenever I'm really feeling like I need to be pulled up, Mary J. Blige. There's like 12 billion Mary J. songs that can lift you up any kind of way you need, whether.
And once you start doing that dance, she do you can't feel no pain once you start doing the Mary J. dances.
Yes. I love my Mary J. Blige. But I also love, I'm a big jazz fan, so my Nina Simone, whenever, she was a great activist as well during her time. And I just love putting her music on because it kind of takes me into one of those, you better open that other eye up because I'm going to come up on you if you don't watch out. I love Nina Simone. So one of my children are named after Nina Simone.
Yeah, for myself, you guys were talking about it earlier. It's Bob Marley. It's Nesta. Everything, No Woman, No Cry is one of my favorite songs. Because every little thing is going to be all right. But I was, it was one of those things when you're going through it. And then One Love, I don't think there's anything smoother than People Get Ready. People Get Ready, there's a train coming. And he took that and he flipped it and he made it his own. And he made it something simple that you can share with anyone. And to me, that's what, that's what music is. It's something that we share and it's something that we keep and that we hold. So even when we give it away, it's the one thing that you can share and give away that you can still keep and hold on to at the same time. It's like Common said, I wish I could give you this feeling. So I love Nesta because he covers the revolutionary, he covers the love, he covers the romanticism, the relationships, and he covers, what I think it was to be a man in his time, a human being in his time. More than anything else, a human being, in his time.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
My mind is going. Today, I'm hearing Ella Fitzgerald. You mentioned jazz.
Ella. Woo!
Tisket to Tasket. I think I heard it in the
that
song. I also love my go-go. So shout out to my band. Hello.
I'm going to ask you about that. Are there any music, any form of music that is traditionally African that has really been go-go to me just sounds like African music? I know I love Afro-Caribbean music. I do. I love Caribbean music. It has it has that Afro sound. Hip hop has the African sound, but go-go to me seems that we have that hodgepodge of just everything that we are in it. It seems to have us. And I don't know if it's just the sound of DC or the sound of Chocolate City, any Chocolate City.
Oh, it is. It is. As my newly minted doctoral student, Dr. Allie Martin, she just finished this awesome dissertation. Look out for her book. I can't wait till it drops. But her name is Allie Martin. Her dissertation was on sonic gentrification, DC movement. And she calls, like many of us, go-go music DC's only indigenous music. And it is Afro-Caribbean in terms of how Chuck Brown would talk about it, the godfather of go-go music, because he was with the Afro-Latin band at the tail end of the 1960s, 70s. And so even the instrumentation has the residue of that Afro-Latin polyrhythmic interlocking rhythms. But specifically what makes go-go music so unique, one artist, Aaron Hope, who's a sound engineer in gospel go-go, he described go-go music as basic, you know, gospel go-go. Yeah, yeah.
Hallelujah.
Peculiar people. Shout out to peculiar people.
Peculiar people, yeah.
Dance in the rain. He said go-go music is basically sonically like taking a marching band and placing them in like a one-bedroom apartment. Somebody like talk and sing over it. It's like it's percussion intense with the lower frequencies that you were talking about, Patrice. It's those lower frequencies that draw folks, and that's very African. You can find the aesthetics that you're asking about in a book called The Power of Black Music by Sam Floyd. And there are many who have taken that up, but there's a second version of that book that was released in 2017 called The Transformational Power of Black Music. But if you want to understand that aesthetic, that buzz, that PDA buzz on the microphone, hardly understand what they're saying. That's African. That's very African.
So let me tell you, one of my.
I didn't tell y'all my go-to song. Wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead, Patrice. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's two things. Number one, I know a lot of the DC natives don't like to acknowledge this fun fact, but Chuck Brown is definitely from Virginia. But, okay, we have to share him. We have to share him.
Actually, and then Lord and Virginia. But I'll share him.
So we gotta share him. A lot of DC natives don't like to go there, but listen, the facts are the facts. All right, these are public records. But DC definitely is what appreciates Chuck Brown's contribution a lot more than the Commonwealth. I'll say that. My go-to song, probably one of them is I have a complete playlist right now to stay sane, but one of my favorites, the Staple Sister, okay? What Pop said, I know a place. Okay? Crying.
Ain't nobody worried.
Listen, racist. Ain't nobody lying to the racists, because that is what they're doing right now all over the Tizoo. They are lying to everybody.
Staples are like that too.
They are lying to everybody. But no, I don't know. It's just something about that song that it's almost like Good Times, where good times, you get excited about hearing it, but there's actually no good times that they're talking about in the song. But you don't even like anytime you feel pain, you're just into it.
Listen, hustle, not getting hustle, leaving your head above water.
I like that part, but I feel like you gotta hold your ear on that part to get your part. Keeping your head above water. And make sure you modulate. You gotta
Temporarily, I never felt so good. So yeah, I think that music like that, the Staples. I do love Mariah Carey, "Fly Like a Bird." That's one of my favorites. Don't let the world break me tonight, is what she said. That's my only prayer at night. Sometimes,
that's the one with the Denise Williams sample, right? That's the one with the Denise Williams sample.
Yes.
Denise Williams is from Gary, Indiana, also, since we're talking about India. So here's a question that I have also. We're talking about blacks in America. We're talking about what we've done for America. And one of the things that I had heard, and I believe this is true, that jazz music is one of the few things that America has created, and it's uniquely an American art form. Is that true, that jazz music is uniquely American, and it's one of the few things that America has created?
Jazz music, there's several musics that have been that people have made the argument are uniquely American, and gospel, jazz, the Negro spiritual, blues, country music. If you look at the top 6 cultural exports that happen to be part of the music industry, you can trace them to strong African American contribution. Absolutely.
Look at us, techno savvy.
Even rock and roll.
We know rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about that. When we were talking about the show, coming up with the show, we were talking about, of course, rock and roll. A lot of people equate Elvis Presley to rock and roll, right? But then we forget that even in his song Hound Dog, there was a black woman that sang that song with a guitar. Oh, it's a black woman's song.
Woo! Big Mama Thornton. The way
Thank you.
Mama Thornton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And-
Like-
and-
Like that is a quick way to get you to watch her perform it. It's like Queen Latifah perform
yeah.
rock like back in the day. The way she does it, she's flat foot. She doesn't do a whole bunch of gyrations, but when she gets real low in her voice and starts,
Right?
yeah, it's amazing.
And she dressed. She's fabulous. She got her hair done. She got a coat on with a fur around her neck. I mean, don't get me wrong. She was with a full-on 6-string guitar, and with, like B.B. King said, I would stop when she sang. This is what I love about the tradition of what we do. She wanted you to hear that you ain't nothing but a hound dog. She was talking about that man she was married to.
Y'all listen, we have a lot of viewers also talking about their favorite songs and their favorite artists. Arrested Development.
Yeah. Everyday people.
Muddy Waters.
Oh, the Earls of Rhythm. Sam Cooke, Nancy Williams, Ron Isley, Curtis Mayfield, Bob Marley. Yeah, just to name a few. Scott Badu. I remember, I'm a sci-fi fanatic, so I remember one of my favorite scenes in The Matrix. I don't know which one it was when they were, they went underground, and that's where Zion was.
Oh, Matrix 2.
And they were, playing the drums, and it was like thousands of them. And they're playing the drums, and they're just like dancing. And I literally, if I could have blinked my eyes and just went there instantly, like I just want to be a part of something like that. That music, you could just feel it moving there. One of my favorite scenes, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah, they had those. It's like it was an underground rave. It was a post-apocalyptic.
It was like an underground rave.
Yeah, and did you notice all the black people in that scene? Did you notice all the black people in that scene who were natural born members of Zion? I believe that was saying that was about the digital divide. We didn't have computers, so we didn't have to worry about AI.
Y'all, so we're coming towards the end of the show. Before first of all, thank everybody who tuned in. Again,
Somebody said Big Luther, not Little Luther.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I mean, there's a difference, just like Black Michael Jackson and White Michael Jackson. But don't forget, this is a donation-based show, so if you'd like to donate to our show, we just dispersed the donations amongst everybody who's on the show at $ Anthony Oaks, that's the Cash App, or Written Scruples for PayPal.
Did we shout out the flunky already?
We haven't done. We haven't done that yet. I go to share all the screens. Before we do that, I just wanted to go through and talk about what song has most affected your life. One song. If one song, you could pick one song. Even people who are watching, put in the comments for that one song that you can be like, oh yeah, this really like impacted my life. One song. Can you choose? You can choose two if you can't narrow it down.
That's hard. Y'all come to me last. That's hard.
Yeah, I got one.
Many times I've been around the sun. One song?
I talk about Bob Marley and everything, but what led me to Bob Marley was my stepdad and listening to Stevie Wonder. I used to love Master Blaster, Stevie Wonder. So really, Stevie Wonder's "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" is probably one of my favorite songs. To me, it's really describing what it's like for a man and woman to realize that they have a child on the way, and realizing that it's God being reborn, and that it's God talking to this man and woman, saying, "I'm your child coming to you, and I've loved you so much that I'm going to come through myself to you all over again. You are the sunshine of my life."
You are the sunshine of my life.
Yeah.
Hey, Tracy?
Is that Whitney Houston? I'm Not Gonna Cry. Is she saying that right?
No, that's the Mary J.
Mary J.
Well, I'm not gonna cry.
It was on the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack.
It was that whole Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Y'all, if it hadn't been for them, I don't know if I'd even be with a man right now. God damn it.
I was your lover and your sacrifice.
Cornbread, little macaroni and cheese.
They pulled me out of a place of darkness. That whole entire soundtrack, that movie, it's the soundtrack.
Yeah.
My 20s.
Come on, Maddie Moss Clark. Don't Worry, Be Happy. One of mine was Sade. When I didn't really listen to a lot of secular music growing up, so it's very BB and CC.
Me too.
For a long time, I didn't even know they was brother and sisters. I thought they was husband and wife. I was like, oh, okay, they are really into each other. Oh God, they're brother. I found out they were brother and sister. I was like,
addicted love.
I didn't know what was
It
going
made it
on.
a little weird.
It made it a little weird for me. But Sade, for me, like the Hallelujah song, I think it was when I first went to college, and I, got turned on to Sade and people like Seal, just kind of alternative musics that I didn't even know Black people made. What was the other one? But anyway, Sade, that song Hallelujah, like it just takes me to a place and I can just feel the little girl who hurts like wearing brand new shoes. I just really related to that song. So Sade was one of those artists that I, really connected to. What about you, Patrice? You come up with one yet?
Why y'all ain't go to Dr. Jones?
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones, what about you?
Y'all gave
You're on the island, Patrice. You get one song to take with you.
Listen, I'm gonna have to say, I saw the George Floyd memorial and Total Praise.
Oh,
Richard Small, his autobiography. Total Praise, you can go. That's another song. You can go all around the world.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Everybody just falls in line.
Until you see a Korean choir sing Total Praise, you haven't heard it.
It will change your life.
Patrice, you still ain't came up with one?
So I'm gonna do two. I mean, really anything out of the Red Hymnal book. I grew up Southern Baptist, so it's just I just keep a praise in my heart. And even if my socio-political views have changed over time, and some of my religious beliefs have changed over time, but it's something about "Oh Holy Night." I sang that one time, and this was before I started smoking weed. And you want to talk about a standing ovation, honey? They gave you a standing ovation, and it's just something about that song that just puts me. I remember how long I practiced, and some of those notes are unreal in that song. If you a soprano, so
fall on your knees.
Mariah sang that.
Yeah, you gotta
For
So that song definitely has a very special place in my heart. I mean, I love a old nasty "What a Friend We Have in Jesus."
I didn't think you were gonna go liturgical on this, like you.
No, expect that from me. I am multifaceted. If I would say secular though, and I had to use one song, it would probably be Biggie and Junior Mafia, "Get Money."
Get money.
The remix. You better move over.
Get money.
That's the best of them, but
That's bad. That's the worst.
That's me.
You better move over.
I don't know. That question is just too hard.
Guns are bustin'. Problems with my wife. Don't discuss them. Coops and lid jets are lustin'. Malibu CB's palm tree.
It cooped out Diablo.
Really,
Yo, my background now,
the more I smoke, the smaller the feeling gets.
The Roots as well, I feel like was a phenomenal concept. The band, is it a band? Is it individuals? Is it, comprised? I thought that was amazing.
Well, this is the Roots cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you don't worry about it, all ties back. That's the song that
Things Fall Apart.
Yeah.
That was a great video. I mean, that was a great
album. It was.
Yeah. Things do fall apart.
So before we go, Dr. Jones, I want you to tell everybody how to find you and how to find your new book in approximately 4 hours. So drop that knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for having me on. Thank you, Derek Hicks, for connecting me with the home team. Connecting Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice. Back. I love it. Y'all heard
You're
it.
singing it all week, Doc. You're gonna be singing it all week.
With Anthony and
It's in my mind. Black Think Tank. I was like, oh, we can be flyers. Yes, I love it. It's real easy to find me. I love social media. You can go to dralicia.com. And on IG and Facebook and Twitter, it's Dr. Alicia L. Jones. And I would love to stay in contact with folks. I love to talk about Black music. I love to talk about Washington, D.C. I love to talk about Black people, Black love. So this has been all the things. You guys are a treat. And I'm so happy that you guys are doing this sort of work. This is like what is needed to do just as well, to laugh, to talk about music. And that's a part of our culture. All love it. All love it. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Jones.
Thank you, Dr.
Tracy.
Jones.
Where we can find?
You can find me at Orange Wellness on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Also, you can find me at MJ_herbal_infusions on Instagram.
You can find me at Woody Seed. That's WOODYSEED. That's on Instagram and Twitter, and Haywood Turnipseed Jr. On Facebook and my website. And then don't forget that we have a Black Think Tank Revolutionary comedy show happening this Saturday. This Saturday. And if you check out my website, you can find out other shows I'm on this Wednesday and this Friday. But the one on Saturday, that's the Black Think Tank edition. We going Juneteenth on them.
We are going Juneteenth. Also, shout out to the Flunky for concierge service. When you have more responsibility than time, the Flunky can do it. You can check them out on theflunky.com. You can also check them out on all social media platforms, Flunky LLC. When you have more responsibility than time, Flunky can do it. Shout out to Kevin, Fat Vegan, my boo.
I love you, husband. Sorry. Me and Anthony share that, man. Y'all don't even know. I mean, I've been trying to keep it under wraps as long as possible.
It's okay. It's okay. What's done in the dark will eventually come to the light. We have all seen that.
Glory.
We can live in that. And I'd also like to remind everybody that we do have the Comedy Revolution comedy show on Saturday, where we'll be featuring DJ Dark Fader. My cousin Troy is going to be on the ones and twos, spinning that Black music to get us energized. Wiki. So we'll have myself, Patrice Haywood, Jamone Darnell, Brittany Carney, and Liz Barlow, serving up the Black jokes for the Black people. Get your tickets on Eventbrite. Yo, we're almost like at 80 tickets. So, make sure you get your ticket. Okay, we're going to have a party, yo.
Wow.
Party.
Yeah,
it's lit. So, Patrice, where can everybody find you? And you're gonna have a show this Saturday too.
Yes, it's two things. You can find me on this Saturday, but before we even get to that, I just want to ask everybody, pray for me for traveling grace and mercy. I'm finally going to get my car from the airport. Hallelujah.
Hey.
For those of you who don't know, it has been at McCarran Airport since March 4th before COVID. Yes. 19 decided to come and bring her brand of bullshit. But so we're going to do a retrieval and extraction mission for my items.
Okay.
Hopefully everything's still intact. But I will be doing the Saturday staff meeting, which is early, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Instagram Live, where I'll be doing coffee and mimosas with Marlon Randolph, a very funny gentleman out of New York City. So if you're not already acclimated to Instagram, this is a great time to come on over and join me at the staff meeting. Also, of course, I'll be, whether it's on the side of the road in Chattanooga, Tennessee, we're going to be at the Comedy Revolution. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get back, but
Girl, don't stop
I'm gonna be in attendance. I'm gonna make sure somewhere if I gotta, run into a quick IHOP for the Wi-Fi. are those types of things even still open? I don't even know what's open. And I need one of those green books. You remember in the back in the day when Black people had to travel and they had the Negro green book to let you know where it was okay to go and where it was not okay to go. I feel like I need one of those for this particular cross country trip. I'm traveling.
You know what? Somebody just sent me a list of Black-owned establishments in America that we should frequent when we travel. I will send that to you for this journey because it had hotels and restaurants. It really did.
Y'all remember?
And we'll also post it on the page, on Black Think Tank's page.
Yeah.
Go check out our page, y'all. Black Think Tank.
It's gonna be interesting.
They're from around that area, so if you need help, let us know. Beyonce's people, yes.
We got Dr. Jones on them.
Yes.
A lot of places to cross.
We had an amazing time today. I'm so grateful for my beautiful co-hosts, my wonderful squad, our special guest, Dr. Jones. You guys provide me with so much love and light. I appreciate you all. I appreciate my baby Kevin. And I thank everybody for tuning in. One last thing before we go. Say something good about Blackness. Patrice, go.
I can't change it, and I wouldn't if I could.
Oh, hey, Shondo. Oh, Haywood. Oh.
I love it. It's the color of everything. It's the color of the universe.
Yeah.
Come on, Tracy.
Dark matters.
Hit me with the blackness. Dr. Jones, Tracy.
Blackity black. There's nothing more positive than any form of the color black.
Absolutely.
Dr. Jones, would you like to lead us out in blackness?
Black is beautiful.
And we are going to leave you with that. Myself, my co-host Patrice, our squad, Haywood, and Tracy, Dr. Jones, we thank all of you for tuning in to Black Think Tank.
Yo!
I love you all so much.
I know, you all are great. Stay black, because black is beautiful. And we will see you next week when we talk about fathers. Our show will be about fathers.
Yes. I'm excited.
We will have a therapist on the show because, our daddies, a therapist is coming to the show so we can talk about Black fathers in the household, okay? All right? Get your daddies together, all right? All your daddy issues.
If you got daddy issues or know somebody with them and don't have insurance, this might be the place to come and work some of your stuff out next week. Like, come on, while we can. Why it ain't no copay? Just come on.
Bring your questions.
Even if you're mad at Father God.
So check out all the information on our page, Black Think Tank with Anthony and Patrice. We love you guys. Stay black, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday. Thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Love you guys.
Much love. Thank you, everyone watching.
Okay, so the live is done.
I'm still on. I'm just not.
We just want to thank you, Dr. Jones.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate your wealth of knowledge, your melanin magic.
And thank you for the book suggestions, especially yours. I'm definitely gonna get it.
Yes.
So excited.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Thanks for bringing your energy and your wealth of knowledge to this discussion, because we could have just been talking about mixtapes.
And also, what I told Dr. Hicks, which is how we found you, I would love to keep this tree of connection going. I will definitely shoot you over topics that we have for the show. And if you could think of anybody, your colleagues or who you think, just and who you've met would be a great fit for the show. We love scholarly individuals that can bring an educational viewpoint to the topics that we have. So just keep us posted, and we'll keep you posted in the future. All right?
Thank you.
No,
thank you.
I'm getting that book. I'm putting it right in my Amazon wish list.
I know.
I had $38 on a gift card still left over. I said, look at God. It was just
Won't she do it? Won't she do it?
She will.
Won't she will?
Won't she?
Dr. Jones, please email me your Cash App so I can send you your donation, okay? I love all of y'all.
I'll see you all soon. I got another engagement. So
Take care.
Love you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.